All right, so good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen, to wherever you all may be, and welcome back to another video on the channel. So, this is the second watercolor video that we have done so far, out of however many I feel like doing, because I have a 30-page sketchbook and I'm not afraid to use it. So, with that being said, I highly recommend that before you watch this one, you check out the first watercolor video that I did just the previous week. Well, I don't know when this is going up, so anyway, that link will be right in the upper right hand corner, so just in case you want to check that out if you haven't already. And let's just get on into this video right here. So so far, out of all of the watercolor pieces that I've done, this is one of my favorites. It honestly is. I don't know why. I think it was because it's the most colorful, because of the skin tone as well as the background that I ended up using, along with along with the tongue that I got right, because up until now I really wasn't drawing tongues that often, because you know, who draws tongues like that? But that's kind of the nature of the beast when it comes to art. You never draw things that you should actually draw, but you end up drawing them when you least expect it. But yeah, that's funny for me. So I ended up naming this piece my friends in Discord actually named this one Annise, and Annise more or less is the I forgot the context I named her in, but I'll figure that out later. Oh man, I hate that. Well, at least the eyes are nice, you know. I really like doing those eyes. Those eyes made a lot of good sense for me. But the title of this piece actually is The Reluctant Rebel, but there's not much reluctant about her. That's kind of because the reluctant spirit of her kind of got taken out, so now she's just a full-on rebel. So yeah, that's kind of what that is. That's kind of just the little backstory behind this piece. I didn't name this myself, and I'm kind of fine with that. I don't know why I doodled so much in the background, even though I was gonna end up covering it up with something, but that's kind of what I ended up doing. One of the funniest things that happened in regards to behind the scenes for this video was that while I was editing this video, well, as I'm editing it now, honestly, I ended up taking a prolonged 2.5 hour break to figure out how to mix music, and it's something that you're going to hear a lot more in this video in particular, and along with a couple more videos in the future as well. But this was something that was really fun that I like doing, and it's something that I'm going to have to keep doing in the future, because it was extremely fun, honestly. So yeah, that's basically that. I kind of had another brain fart. I think I overdid it with the graphite shading as I kept going on with this piece, but it turned out a lot better than I thought it would. So as we were going, we just going to have all the paint selected out and everything. Painting outside was, for this one in particular, was a very, I don't want to say it was a huge mistake, but it was kind of a big mistake for the timing of day. It was about 12 in the afternoon, and that sun was high and mighty over the entire field that I was outside, that I was outside in, and that field was, you know, very open, but oh man, was it hot, you know? So that helped me, you know, realize that I need to do these at about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, which I have been doing, and you'll notice the sun change and everything. But honestly, this lighting helped, you know, just dry up some of the paint faster, as well as show you what was going on in the painting, going on in the whole process. So it was kind of you know, a big one. So as we start to fill up the paint with as we start to actually color with the watercolors, I wanted to also bring your attention to a slight discussion that I had in my previous video about the 6 Ghosts of Fear. I honestly just want to ask, what books are you all reading today? For anybody who's watching this, just comment below and tell me. I'm interested to know, and I always will like to get some new book recommendations because I currently have a lot of books to read, and it is an ever-growing list. And after my last semester in college, it kind of just grew out of just see, like, I can't even describe it. It grew massively, honestly. So yeah, that's kind of where I am right now. And we're only halfway through. Okay. Oh yeah, so this particular part here, these branches, oh man, so I was sitting under a tree in the field, and because the sun was pointing straight down, I couldn't get those pesky shadows out of the way, so we're gonna have to deal with that for a little bit. It's not the worst thing in the world, but it did irk me as well. And then certain pieces of the video got lost, and I did not appreciate that. That was because my camera actually was heating up, and when my camera heats up to a certain extent, I can't record anything. That's the only downside of actually recording outside in the sun with technology. Technology overheats, and technology doesn't like to work under extreme temperature or pressure, as I've learned in all of my years working with technology. Because let me stop getting so emotional. So one thing that I didn't think to do until today, when I started looking back at the footage for this video, was to color her tongue in blue. Towards the end, you'll actually see what I mean, but I really thought that I should color it in blue. This is in massive hindsight and massive retrospect, but I wasn't too sure why I should do that. But yeah, that was something that came to mind. And coloring the tongue now that I look at it, it was a lot better than I thought it came out to be. Well, it was a lot better than I thought it came out as the first time. So there's a benefit to looking around and looking back at some of your old work. So yeah, I kind of forget how I mix the shadows in. I need to. We're gonna have to go ahead and just watch along, basically. But I do appreciate how some of the darker areas. Okay, so now there it is. Okay. So yeah, now I remember. I actually used a bit of dark blue because the complementary color of this yellow ochre that I used for the skin was actually, it was sky blue. But if I wanted to make the areas darker, I needed to use a darker blue. So I used ultramarine watercolor blue. That's an awfully long name now that I think about it, but yeah. So that's one of the first things that I learned about painting in regards to how to get the opposite color. So that's what I ended up doing. I actually added a little black into it as well, but you have to be very careful when you add the black because it will get it to everything more or less. So yeah, that was not really fun, but it was fun. And because the sun was out, the watercolor was able to dry faster, and certain areas were not too wet compared to other areas of the paper. And again, that was because the sun dried it up a lot faster, but because they weren't that dry, I was able to do a lot of dry brush effects and textures, especially in the hair, which is what we're getting into now. And there's probably going to be a giant cut in like now, probably, I don't know. There you are. So yeah, right there was a lot of wind, and I had to cut the video out basically. So now we are here to the watercolor textures. Basically, this is a super short tutorial about how to paint hair in watercolor. So yeah. Always measure your water quantity and viscosity, kids. Please, it will save you a lot of time and heartbreak when you have to go back and look at how you actually did this. And mixing in the blue actually helped a little bit with the black. It's not extremely noticeable, but it does give a subtle blue hue slash accent to the hair, and it's something that you really like. It's something that you will really like once you start doing it a lot more. So I highly recommend that anybody who's getting into watercolor do something like that. All right. So now we are getting ready to wrap up some of this. I actually left out me coloring in the blue eye. So the eye colors are going to be mismatched because of the scarring Annise has on her eye. So I kept the dark blue for ultramarine watercolor blue. Again, that's a funny name, but I kept that one, and I used a what was it called? I think it was called cerulean blue. Yes, cerulean blue, light blue, and that's what is going to be the entire background now. And turns out the cerulean light blue was the perfect complementary color to the yellow ochre that I used, like I said earlier. Super helpful when making this piece pop out. This is another reason why I said that I like this one a little bit more. So yeah, it's all coming together. It was super good. And then once I started mixing in the ultramarine blue to get some darker hues around the area, that's when it really started to pop. And I don't really know what I wanted to do with the background, honestly. So that's why the background ended up looking as abstract as it was, with all these random pen slash ink shapes that I used. Yeah, it was a little odd, but it worked. I can't really complain about it, you know. It was a spur of the moment type of thing. So here is the initial sketch for Annise. All right, so I really liked it. It was fun. And here is the finished piece. And actually the lighting matched up with the lighting in the picture. And so with that being said, everyone, I would like for you all to give this video a nice little like, hit that thumbs up button and all that good stuff, as well as subscribe if you really enjoyed the content and you want to see some more of these. I have a lot more of these watercolor pieces coming in down the line, basically. And while you're still there, tell me what you think about the video as well as the finished piece in the comments below. With that being said, I will catch you all later.